talk to you about buying a home. I know that this is a priority for a lot of folks that are out there to get into a home. Now, the market is a little weird right now, which I know you understand. The prices of homes are escalated or elevated, and the interest rates are a little bit high. But this is going to change, and I give it the next six months to a year that it will change, so to be more of a buyer's market than a seller's market, and the banks just making tons of money because of it. And so I want to prepare you so when this shift happens, you understand how to buy a house with only $5,000 down. And this will be a $250,000 house with $5,000 down. Now, there's a few folks out there that tells you, oh, you got to have 20%. And don't get me wrong, 20%. If you have it, great. The only issue with 20% is a lot of people don't have 20% of $250,000. They just don't. Okay, but there's other ways of buying a house, and so I'm going to talk about three different ways. First, you can get a grant, local or state grant, that will put a certain percentage down for you. I did this with my son about 10 years ago, and out of pocket for $165,000 house, we had to pay $3,000. We paid that $3,000 because the city put a large down payment down with the stipulation that he stays in the house for a minimum, I think it was 5 or 7 years. And if he stayed in the house for that amount of time, the grant, or it was a grant, but it was structured like a loan, and so this loan would be forgiven. If he didn't, all depending on the amount of time that he was in it, it would be retro to that time. And so if he was in it half the time, he would have to pay back half of it if he sold the house. And so there are instruments out there similar in every state. So you just have to look and try to identify. The other way that you can do it is what's called an FHA loan. And this is a federal backed loan that allows you to put 3% down. Okay, so let's do some math. We're still on that $250,000 house. So 3% of 250 would be 7,500. Okay. Now this is the caveat of putting 3% down. You're going to have to pay what they call PMI, which is mortgage insurance. It's a premium mortgage insurance. What it does, it guarantees the bank that if you foreclose on the house because you have so little down, they're able to reap some of the benefits from this PMI. PMI is like maybe 150, all depending on the price of the house. So it could be from $100 to $250 per month that's added to your monthly payment. And so you would pay your payment, your mortgage payment, your insurance and taxes, and then you also pay this PMI month in and month out. So I know that's a lot of detail, but back to the math. Okay, so you got this $250,000 house, and you can put 3% down. And then you're going to also need about another 1.5% for miscellaneous closing costs. And so now you got the 7,500 and an additional 2,500 that you will need to pay in miscellaneous closing. You don't have that. You have 5,000. So you're $4,000 short. This is what I have done in the past. Okay, so I've done the math, and I know I'm 4, 5, maybe $6,000 short. I go to the seller and I say, seller, I know your house, you're selling it for $250,000. I would like to pay $256,000, and you issue me a credit of $6,000. You follow me? As long as it appraises for the difference, which is not a lot, we're talking about $6,000 on 250. As long as it appraises for the additional amount, the seller would be more than happy to do that, because again, they're trying to move out of the house. They're trying to buy another house or move to with family, or having a house built or whatever. Okay, so the seller adds the additional $6,000 to the price of the house. The new total is $256,000. Seller gives you a $6,000 credit. That helps you with your closing costs and your down payment. You follow me? I've done this maybe 5 to 7 times. I'm not really sure, but I've done it multiple times. I've written to some houses that have a tremendous amount of value. They're just trying to get out of it, and I didn't have to put a dime down. Let me explain again. Same thing. The house is listed for $150,000. Follow me, $150,000. But its current value, which you can find on Zillow or you can get appraised before you buy it. That's a little expensive, but you can find on Zillow, was $210. I go to the seller and I say, I know you want to sell this for $150,000, but I want to buy it for $200,000, and I would like for you to give me a $50,000 credit. So I'm able to pull $50,000 of equity out, pay all closing, pay my down payment, and put security money to the side, because these are rental properties, security money to the side for that property. 10, sometimes $15,000. That's after I go in, paint, clean up, and repair anything that needs to get done. So now I have $15,000 of security money for this property. Now, I know I'm getting off topic, so I'm going to go back to the buying the house, but I do need to finish this piece about security money. I believe that you should have security money, because things are going to happen. What happens if the air conditioner goes out? What happens if you have a roof leak? What happens? You have to have, what happens if your tenants just leave in the middle of the night? What happens if your tenants pour concrete down your pipes and drains? So you have that money there for that individual house, and you have set up bank accounts for each house. So it's its own entity. And then if you get 10, 15 houses, you pull all that money into one bank. You pull all those houses into one entity. And I'm not going to go into that. That's a long story. Into one entity. Take all that money and put it into that bank for that entity of the 10. But we're not going to go back. Let's go back to buying the house. Okay. So get to $250,000. We ask for $6,000 additional. We take that $6,000 and use it for our down payment. And so we are now buying the house with $5,000, if not less, down. FHA does this all day, every day, all day. And so again, don't ever think that you cannot purchase a home. Let me say that again. Don't ever think that you cannot purchase a home. There are ways to purchase a home with little to no money down. Please like, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to do series similar to this, the whole how-to piece. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.